Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Postgraduate Certificate in Clinical Research, Education and Leadership, otherwise known as CREL, and the Postgraduate Diploma MST in Clinical Medicine information session. Before we start, we want to inform you that this session is being recorded and will be shared on the ICE YouTube channel, and the recording will be sent to all who registered for the event after the session. My name is Laura Aston. I'm Head of Academic Centre Administration at the Institute of Continuing Education at the University of Cambridge, also known as ICE. Today on the panel, we have Dr. Thomas O'Connor, Postgraduate Certificate Course Director. We also have our student rep, Neghat, who is from the CREL course. Well, we're hoping they're going to turn up very shortly. We've also got Shah, who's our MST student rep. We have Kate Linton from the enrolments team who's monitoring the Q&A chat. So please do type any questions that you might have in the chat, in the Q&A function, and Alice Bream, who is providing marketing support. Next slide, please. This week, we'll be running a variety of online sessions to give you the opportunity to find out more about our medical and health sciences portfolio at the Institute of Continuing Education. Course information sessions like this one, covering each course in our portfolio, have been taking place every evening. In addition to our live sessions, we also have additional video resources on our website, giving you further information on funding options, the application process, college matriculation, student support, and interview preparation. If you missed any of our sessions or are unavailable to attend, then you can watch the recordings, which will be available on our website 24 hours after each event. Links to events and resources are shared in the chat and will also be sent via email after the session. Next slide, please. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to tell you a bit about the Institute of Continuing Education. We're a long-established part of the University of Cambridge, having formed over 150 years ago in 1873. In fact, we're the oldest university provider of continuing education in the world. Today, we offer a wide range of courses to adult learners, including short online and residential weekend courses, international summer programs, and award-bearing part-time undergraduate and postgraduate qualifications, covering a number of subject areas from archaeology to genomic medicine. We also act as the admitting body for all MST courses within the University of Cambridge, with our MST students becoming members of a Cambridge college upon commencement of their course. We work very hard at ICE to ensure that ICE is a place where professional networks are formed, friendships are made, and the transformative power of learning is recognised. Next slide, please. Upon entry to the postgraduate certificate, you'll be what is known as a non-matriculated member of the university, which effectively means you do not receive college membership unless you wish to progress to the MST year of the course. Therefore, whilst you're on the certificate, the welfare and pastoral support is largely managed by ICE, although some wider university services are available to you. The teams at ICE also organise your university cards and course completion celebrations. Upon completion of the postgraduate certificate, you become an alumni of the university. If you end up progressing onto the MST year of the programme, you'll become a member of a University Cambridge College, which will grant you the same level of support as full-time college students. You would have access to standard college resources. You'll be allocated a college tutor who is responsible for your welfare and pastoral support, and your college would confirm arrangements such as to do with your university card, matriculation and graduation events. If you wish to, if you're a current student and you've reached the point in which you're eligible to progress onto the MST year of the clinical medicine course in 25-26, you would be matriculated to Homerton College. Watch our informative video for more information on our college partnerships and to hear from the colleges themselves. All students, regardless of whether they're a postgraduate certificate, postgraduate diploma or MST student, are able to approach your course teaching teams or course administration teams for support at any time. Next slide, please. In today's session, we'll take you through what you can expect from the programme, including entry requirements, teaching style, module content, and assessment. You'll then hear from some of our current students. At the end of the presentation, I'll take you through what kind of support we can provide during your application. And we also have time reserved at the end of the session to answer your questions. So please do send us any questions that you have for any members of the team via the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen during the presentation. I'll now hand you over to my colleague, Thomas O'Connor, Course Director for the Postgraduate Certificate. Thanks, Thomas.
Laura, thank you very much for your introduction there, and welcome to everybody who's joining us live on this webinar, and also those of you who are joining us on catch-up. And the idea of this evening's webinar is really to give you an introduction to the particular courses and maybe answer any questions that you might have. The course that we are looking at this evening is the Postgraduate Certificate in Clinical Research, Education and Leadership. As Laura said, my name is Thomas. I am an assistant professor here at Cambridge University, and I am course director for the Postgraduate Cert in Clinical Research, Education and Leadership. And this course has evolved since about 2016 to really meet the very specific needs of healthcare professionals, initially to meet the needs of doctors, medics, surgeons for their portfolio, for those particular things in research, education, and leadership that are needed in order to progress in your job and progress in your career, and also for you to be able to hit those points in applications, in job applications, in portfolios, so that you can prove that you have the competencies and the academic background to progress through your career. Very specifically, the course has been designed to meet what's needed from the learners. So it involving theory, but also very, very practical aspects. And with this, it is designed to help you progress through your career. Originally designed for medics, surgeons, doctors, the course has expanded now because we've had interest from dentists, from ODPs, from paramedics, from nurses. So on the course, while the main cohort will still be medics, you'll be joined by some colleagues from other professionals, which really brings that lovely multidisciplinary team idea, and you get that learning opportunity which you may not receive elsewhere. Very specifically, the Cambridge way of learning is collaborative learning, not just with your tutors and with the lecturers, but learning with each other and from each other, and having a huge amount of support and input with the other students right throughout the course. I think that one of the great things about this course is that as the course develops, then you get to know the other students, you get to share your work, you get to collaborate, and it's not an online course where you are detached from the reality of everybody else involved. An in-person course you attend. You saw there the wonderful pictures of Madingley Hall. You get to attend Cambridge in person on the various contact days, and then come back and build those relationships as you go. At the moment, there is the Postgraduate Certificate, which is the first year, and then there are options in development for the diploma and the masters as well, as Laura had mentioned. Next slide, please. In the certificate, we have 3 modules, and then the credits add up towards a 180 credit masters. The leadership module, I am the course director for the leadership module, and in this we look at leadership theory, fellowship theory, NHS business cases, and specifically at looking at implementing these things through quality improvement. The academic assignment for the leadership module is a quality improvement project that you will undertake in your own workplace setting. You will start this in the first term, and we will bring you through right until the final term, where you will present your project to a cohort of your peers on the course, and you will produce an academic poster as well. And again, these are to give you all those practical skills of presenting projects, presenting business cases, and producing an academic poster that you can use in your career. Then the research module is module 2. That will be after Christmas, January start. And in the research module, again, research theory, ethics, permissions, and peer evaluation, getting you to the point where you can produce as your assignment for this module, an academic level research proposal. So a research proposal that would be an appropriate level for your job position at the moment. So that when you are involved in research, when you are involved in your own clinical duties, then you will get to have that critical appraisal skills of looking at research proposals, at looking at research papers, and be able to hit those on a peer-to-peer view with people who are already involved in research. In the third module, this is the clinical education module. And again, there's a theory and practice of education, education pathways, modes of assessment, and working within clinical skills and clinical spheres to develop those particular education needs, both as a learner and as an educator. I think for fairly much all of us who are involved in clinical practice, we have a large amount of teaching within our practice, whether that's undergraduate, postgraduate level, or up to master's or PhD level. And in the education module, you'll have, again, your assignments will be involved in looking at how, for you in your particular job setting, that theory of education, the theory of the modes of assessment are applicable to you, and then reflection on how you have implemented those within your own job role. So very much the assignments within the course are designed to be specific to you and your job role. They're not simply dry academic assignments to see and test, do you know the theory? No, it's all about how can you apply these to your particular area of practice, no matter what that is, whether you're medical, dental, or allied health professionals. With the modules, each module is also available as a standalone CPD module. So if you are not looking at doing the entire postgraduate certificate as an award-bearing course, you can take the leadership or the research or the education module as a standalone module for CPD credits. And we have people who engage in this at various levels right the way throughout the course. And if we can have the next slide, please. And these are some pictures from the course showing some current and past students of the course here. This is at an awards day at Madingley. This is on some teaching day on the top on the right hand side there after a long day of teaching. On the bottom right hand side, the chap in the middle with the academic gown. This is Lord Simon Woolley, who's principal of Homerton College, and this is just to show that progression from PG Cert into matriculation into Cambridge College. But also hopefully from this you can get to see from the pictures that there is that level of engagement and involvement that perhaps you would not get with an online course, but that you definitely get within this community of practice that we develop by engaging with the other people on the course. And certainly we have people right the way through from when the course started in 2016 who are still in touch, who are collaborating professionally, internationally on standards, on guidelines, on getting it right first time reports. And this is an ongoing I guess, an alumni benefit of this, that you have access to all of us, you have access to all your peers from the courses over time. And next slide, please. So I'd like to introduce you to Shah. Shah is a current student on the Masters in Clinical Medicine. So we have the certificate in Clinical Research, Education and Leadership, which presently is leading to the diploma, the second year in Clinical Medicine, and then the third year, the Masters in Clinical Medicine. Welcome, Shah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here this evening. And if we could ask you to share a little bit about your experience, I guess, at one level, at that emotional engagement with the course, but also from a professional point of view, what you have gained professionally from the course over the 3 years.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Good evening, everyone. Currently as an MST student at the university, it's definitely an honor to reflect on my journey through PG Cert here, PG Dip here. When I first applied the first time I remember, I was looking through all the different courses, and this one in particular, I'll be very honest, has ticked 3 different boxes for me to progress professionally and also for me to be a good clinical, let's say, leader. So the clinical research, education, and leadership attracted my attention. So I thought, let's apply and see how it goes. And I think that was a really good decision, obviously, because I progressed on to do the MST as well. So that means I was really interested in progressing through the course. And in the first year, I remember, like as Thomas was talking about different modules, quality improvement one was the leadership one was my favorite one, because what I did is that I had the privilege of working on a project which had a real life impact in my trust. So I worked on a animated series of videos for parents of neurodiverse children. So got interviewed by BBC about that, and it had real life impact for the people in our the patients in our trust. And second year, I did the same thing in terms of like the advanced leadership project. So took on a really nice project. So it kind of helped me as a professional, and also people in the trust, that patients in the trust. And also I wasn't sure that like the health. I initially thought that the healthcare law and the healthcare informatics. I I thought initially, I thought like these would be quite boring subjects, but once I went through those, I really found those both of those things really interesting, because the way it gets taught at the university is fantastic. You've got deadlines as well, which act as like motivators for you to get things done. I learned process mapping. I learned different nuances of the Mental Capacity Act around the Mental Health Act. And I think, and the main thing, once you progress on to doing the MST and the experience we recently had at the Homerton as well, that was fantastic. So I would say that like it's out of all the courses I've done so far, this has been one of the most transformative courses for myself as a professional, and as well as how it has changed my thinking style, being a bit more critical thinker, even at the workplace. So yeah, I do attribute that to this course.
Thank you very much. And very interesting that you talk about the course structure and it being very applicable to the workplace, and then also about quality improvement. And with this course, something that we actively work on all the time is our own quality assurance and our own quality improvement of the course. We engage with the students all the time to say, well, how can we make this course better for you? How can we help it to meet your needs? So it has changed and evolved and molded with the input of the students each year to refine this and make it so very applicable at a practical level to everything. And I know at the moment, Shah, you're working on your master's level project, and um, I know that with all of the master's level projects, we are very focused on having that real world impact. So it's not some dry academic dissertation that you need to write. It is focused on what is important to you in your career, what you will enjoy doing, and certainly for having that impact. I mean, so wonderful. Often the students come back and they say, well, I was on the course last year, now I'm progressing to the diploma. You probably won't remember my project, but, and actually for all of you, because your projects all have such real world impact, and indeed some of you get interviewed by the BBC, that all the projects, I could sit and tell you each of the projects right the way through, all the way back, because, you know, everything has such a high level impact, which is, again, something that we hope is unique to this course that you might not find elsewhere. We were to be joined by Nikat as well, but unfortunately it seems that Nikat is delayed at work this evening. So we have other students who can talk to you as well at any point if we want to get put in touch with the real world of what actually happens on the course and get that real feedback. And next slide, I think I'll be back to Laura then. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Shah. As you'll see on here, the deadline for applications to the CREL course, and if you're already within the pathway for clinical medicine, the same deadline applies to you if you want to progress onto the diploma or MST. So that's the 30th of April. On the web pages there, you will find an apply button and further information about the courses. So please do have a look at those. Next slide, please. We at ICE, we have an enrolments team who's available to help you with any queries about the course. Kate from the enrolment team is in the Q&A right now, looking to answer any questions that you might have. So please do pop them in the Q&A function as soon as possible. Kate and her team can help you select the right course, provide advice on eligibility requirements, the application process. And if you would prefer not to put your question in the live Q&A this evening, you can scan the QR code that's on the slide, and that will take you to our inquiry form. Or you can email the questions directly to the enrolments team by emailing questions@ice.cam.ac.uk. If you're an existing student looking to progress, then please do get in touch with the course administration team with any questions, and we're happy to help you. Okay. Right, so let's have a look at some questions that have come in. Let's have a look. Right, okay, so one question, Sharon, I don't know if you can help with this one. What's it like in terms of the study, very busy working life balance? At ICE, we do pride ourselves on being very aware of the challenges that can come from part-time study with work, and we have systems in place to offer support along the way. But what was your experience over the last few years?
That's a really good question, because that was on my mind as well, that how would I be able to do it with a full-time job? But the main thing is that even during the contact days, you get a vast majority of chunk of the stuff done, or at least planned for yourself. So that allows for you to think in advance that how can you manage it with a full-time job, or if you're working part-time, that's even better. Or for example, for myself, it works really well because in psychiatry, we get like 1 day of special interest. So I was kind of dedicating that half a day special interest to the course. So there are ways of managing it, and the deadlines are your goalposts, and you can kind of think in that manner, that like how can you manage some of vast majority so I like to work in chunks. So vast majority of chunks I used to spend mostly when I had a little bit of a holiday, or when I used to get some study leaves, so I would spend on that, and obviously towards the end as well. So there are ways, so it's possible to get it done with a full-time job, as well as you're working if you've got some study leaves as well. Yeah.
And
Thank
very
you.
very deliberately with the faculty and the teaching on the course, I'm a full-time clinician. Spent most of the day today working at hospital, then teaching on the certificate this afternoon, and now on this course. And it's being able to have that authenticity of, well, people who are delivering the course. For example, I was on the very first intake on this course as a student back in 2016. So it's that lived experience that we have. We know what it's like being full-time clinicians or part-time clinicians. We know the demands of your work, and we know the type of assessments and assignments that are very difficult and arduous. We know the types that are engaging and of practical use to you, and very deliberately we aim all the assignments to things that will be very specific to you and of practical, very, very practical use to you. Thank you, Laura. And any other questions there?
Yeah, so the next question is about attendance at the teaching sessions. Thomas, I don't know if you want to talk about how regular they are and the expectations around attendance.
Yes, and at the time of applying, we have the dates available for the contact days. It is an in-person course. It's not an online course, and that is specifically so that you have that in-person experience. You have the interaction with the tutors, with the faculty, and with the other students. And attendance at all of the in-person contact days is mandatory. Now, obviously, life events come on, there may be medical issues or whatever, and we would look at these on a case-by-case basis. But for the course overall, it's an in-person course. The leadership module has 4 days in the first term, and they tend to run Monday to Thursday. And then you come back in the June to present your project. That's the 5th day of leadership. Then you have in the second and third term for research and education, you have 4 contact days in 1 week, again, Monday to Thursday. And then about 3 or 4 weeks later, you're back again for another day. So you're grouping back together, looking at how you have used and put into practice what you've learned and achieved on those days. So each module is 5 days divided into a chunk of 4 and then 1 subsequent day. There also are opportunities to catch up online. We do some online workshops and we do some online tutorials in between as well. And with those deliberately, we will decide on the timing of those with the group. And usually what we find is that the group will say, well, let's do one on a weekday evening, let's do one on a weekend morning, and we will see then have the flexibility of that. So we'll run the same session twice live. And then also for anybody who can't join synchronously, can't join live at the time, you can catch up with this. The recordings for those are available on our VLE, our virtual learning environment. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. Just one point of clarification that's come in about being affiliated to one of the Cambridge colleges. So just to confirm that you are, whilst you're a member of the university and you get alumni status, as soon as you complete the postgraduate certificate, you actually only become matriculated into a college and when you enter into the MST year of the clinical medicine programme.
And then again, that little bit of personal journey there. When I was doing PGC and DIP, then even though you haven't matriculated into a particular college, you still have that engagement with the university. You still have access to the university library, to the medical library, all those resources. So almost getting the little rubber stamp in the 3rd year of having your college matriculation, it's that little extra bonus on the end. But you have full involvement in university life in the meantime. Wherever you're based, if you're based in Cambridge or further away, you've got the online resources as well, which are really wonderful.
Thomas, this one's for you. Can you clarify how many credits are attached to each module?
Or for the postgraduate certificate, each module carries 20 credits. So that is 20 for leadership, 20 for research, and 20 for education. And that's a total of 60 credits for the postgraduate certificate. Then in the diploma year, again, 3 modules, each carrying 20 credits. That's 2, 4, 6. So that will be a total of 120 credits for the certificate and diploma combined. And then the master's is 60 credits. So overall, 1, 2, 3 years combined together for a master's, which is the equivalent of 180 credits at level 7 university standard. Thank you, Laura.
Great, thank you. Shah, this could be a question for you. How much interaction do you feel that you get with other students outside of the face-to-face teaching days?
I would say it depends on yourself and your mates. So what we've done is that we've created our own WhatsApp group and we interact a lot, not just in WhatsApp. So for example, if we have to brainstorm, so I text someone in the group and we have a video call, or we are planning actually to meet at some point as well, and we have thought about some shut up and write sessions as well, which we can do in one of the university libraries. So there are opportunities for doing those sorts of meetups, and we really enjoy the social aspects of meeting other students as well, especially during the university time, the face-to-face time. So so there's a lot, and you feel like a good cohort that you can rely on each other's feedback as well. So there's a lot of social. I'm trying to use the right words. Socialization going on with the other students. Yes.
Great, thank you. And the postgraduate certificate, we plan to deliver the course at Madingley next year. Shah, what was your experience of being at Madingley for teaching?
Fantastic. It's a very old and a very old building, and you can feel that that
The
feel
history.
the history basically. Yes, yeah. So it was really good. The food was very delicious. And I think I didn't stay there, but some of my other colleagues did stay there as well. So they found it even better being a part of Madingley. So yeah, it was good, and a lovely drive around it, so you can avoid the traffic. So yeah, I enjoyed it at the Madingley. Yeah.
Yes, I
Great.
mean it's fantastic. It's a historic manor, really, and I think parts of it are dating back to the 1500s, so back to the time of Henry VIII. So when we talk about it being an old building, we're not talking about the way some of you might work in an old hospital. It's not quite it's not quite that. It's a fun place to be and to explore.
Thank you. Thomas, could you deal with this question about the makeup of the teaching team on the postgraduate
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
backgrounds, that sort of thing?
Very deliberately, the teaching team involved are, what we would call real working clinicians on this. It's not that dry academic idea of, well, you're coming into people with their ivory towers who don't know what the reality of delivering healthcare is. We're all very, very involved in waiting lists in the NHS. We're all very involved in patient care. We're all very involved in delivering real quality improvement within the health service. And for example, on the leadership module, we have Dr. Nicola Jones, who is the clinical subdean of the clinical school here in Cambridge and consultant intensivist at the Royal Papworth Hospital here in Cambridge, working alongside me. We have an NHS business manager who works alongside us and who will take you through the nuts and bolts of the reality of putting together a business case from the viewpoint of the person who will be looking at this and allocating the 25 million or the 500 million, whatever it happens to be. So it's that real world, the real world impact with real world conditions. The team on the education module are very involved in the day-to-day delivery of teaching, both at an undergraduate and postgraduate level at the Cambridge University Teaching Hospitals Trust. And with those, we have people who are involved also in the Masters in Medical Education and the Masters in Dental Education courses as well. So very much hands-on clinicians who are experienced in course development and in running the course, and who are there for you and will understand the difficulties and the realities of what it's like for you as a real life clinician, taking time out, taking study leave, perhaps taking professional leave, to achieve this and attend for your course. Very supportive. The application process, the interview process, people think, oh, I'm applying to Cambridge, this must be very daunting and very scary. Hopefully we're not scary people and daunting people. We talk you through it, we take you through it in the same relaxed and friendly manner that we have here this evening. There are no surprises in this. We have it as open and accessible as possible to the real people out there working in real clinical jobs who want to come on this course and make that real world impact.
Thomas, following on from that, do you want to go into some details about what happens after an application is submitted in terms of the rest of that process, the interview?
Yes, indeed. So the application is submitted on I was going to say on paper, but it's submitted electronically. And then the course directors will look through this and look at, well, really looking at, is this the correct course for this person? Is what this person is hoping to get from the course what's going to be delivered by the course? And then inviting people to interview. And the interview is held via Zoom or Teams. It'll save you having to come to Cambridge in person, and very, very supportive in that. So it's that chat through what you're doing in your current job role, your understanding of the course, what you'd like to gain from the course, and then that two-way conversation of any questions for us. The timescale of that, the deadline, I think, is the 30th of April, Laura. That's right.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
then we would hope to have interviews in June, in May.
End of June, early May.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're doing.
And yeah, and then the turnaround time from interview to acceptance on the course, hopefully, is a week or two. So that
Yeah,
you
what
can
we
plan,
tend to
because
do is informally give an
yeah,
outcome, and then there might be a couple of weeks before admissions gets
yeah.
the final confirmation
Is
out.
again, as real working clinicians, we know that to get your leave approved, to get your study leave approved, you need to get these things in early. So we don't want any delays in that for you. And I know, Laura, that the admissions team as well are very open to any questions or any contact before people apply. So whether that's, any further information on the application process, on supporting evidence, all these things. So that is something that you should avail of if you're in any way worried about the application process. We're a friendly bunch. We don't want applications to be a barrier to any of this for you.
No.
Sha, how did you
Charlotte,
find the application
I was
process? Oh, we're on the
gonna
same
have to
question,
say.
Laura.
Yeah. So, like you said, the application process, it gives you time and space to actually think about whether or not you can dedicate time to this course, and if you're going to dedicate time to this course, how are you going to make sure that your study leaves are approved? Are they going to be approved? Are you going to use some of your annual leaves? And also about like what exactly are you going to get out of this course? So the interview process was, like you said, quite friendly, and it was more about thinking with the interviewers about, are you the right fit? Is this the best time in your life to do it, as well? So it makes you, so the application process made me think a lot. And that was the time I thought, yes, I can dedicate this way my time, and and it's the right time to do it as well in terms of my professional, where I'm at in terms of my career as well. So overall, I really enjoyed the interview process. It wasn't daunting at all, and I think I've done it 3 times now, because you get to do it again at the time you are going for the diploma, and then at the time of MST. But the main thing is that it's just to make sure that you are, uh, again, able to dedicate time, and are able to think with the people that you're going to get something good out of it. So it was a nice experience overall.
Thank you, Shah. Thomas, I don't know if you want to talk about any required experience for entry onto the program. Where should people
Yes,
be in their
indeed. Yep.
careers?
And just before that, Laura, just to say that if there's anybody watching this who had already participated in the certificate or the diploma and now is thinking of going to that next level, the application process is designed to be very supportive and really a natural progression from certificate to diploma, from diploma to masters, if that's the way you want to progress. And with that, if you already have the certificate or the diploma, then we're very supportive in helping you to get to that point of being able to progress. It's not, again, the interview and the application process is in no way a barrier. That's there just to catch up with you and check how you're doing and help you progress. So for those applying for the certificate for the first time, it's aimed at clinicians who have some experience already within their healthcare profession. So generally for those who are certainly maybe a year or two into their profession, who have had some experience at either end of leadership, research, or education, and who really are keen to know more about this to help their career progress. You don't have to have had a substantive teaching post. You don't have to have delivered a research project. You don't have to be you don't have to be a current clinical lead, for example, to come on the leadership course. So it's designed to get you up to that level, the next stage of your career. And this, again, is where we'd encourage you in your applications to almost have that free thinking in your writing. So just that you're saying, here's where I'm at, here's what I'd like to do, here's the experience I have, and then we have a chance to discuss this a bit more at interview. Those of you who are at more mid or advanced level in your careers, again, particularly people who are stepping up to leadership roles at a higher level, the course, again, is very much able to be tailored for your needs, so that the assignments and the teaching and the support there is not just at that entry level, but available for those of you who may have further experience in research or education or leadership to help you achieve your particular goals as well.
Thank you, Thomas. In terms of cohort size and the competition for places, so in terms of the competition, we do tend to have more applications than places. But Thomas, I don't know if you want to talk about the cohort size and the whether that's deliberate, the intention behind it.
And it's wonderful to see that, you know, the course has, because it has really been co-developed with the students over time, that the interest in the course and the numbers in the course increasing. Very deliberately, it is a small cohort so that you have that small group teaching. We're not in a big lecture hall with, 100, 200 people. And with that, you get the personal experience of interacting with the other students. Should we hit a number that we think, well, this is too many to have in one room, we'll think, right, we will split this and run you as two groups. So we want it to be that small group experience for everybody, rather than that online experience of, well, you just, one of a person on a screen, or perhaps, as some of you might have had in your undergrad career, of being in a big lecture hall and feeling, well, I'm one of 200 people in here, I'm not getting any personal teaching. It's designed to give you that personal level of teaching. And again, maybe Shah, if you can have any thoughts on your own experience of, has the cohort size been too big, too small, just right for you, for your learning needs?
I would say just right. And
Good answer.
yeah, also, like you were saying that you as the teacher on the course, about the other people's projects as well. So I know about the other people's projects as well. So that provides another layer of learning from other people's experiences, and you're able to get that one-on-one feedback with them as well. So just right is the word.
Brilliant. Good to know. A final question here, because we've got 1 minute left. Does the university assist with accommodation for postgraduate certificate students? So it's not a residential teaching as such. You're not required to live within the university during your time on the course. Madingley does have accommodation on site, so you can book that online, but we wouldn't organise that directly for you. Okay.
And I know we have people who've stayed at Madingley and absolutely loved it. It's a wonderful venue to stay at. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Can we have the final slide, please? So we're coming to the end of our session today. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We hope you found the session informative. We'd love to hear your thoughts via our satisfaction survey, which will be emailed to you shortly. So that's everything from us. Thank you ever so much for joining us, and we hope to hear from you again soon. Thank you. Bye.